I hate this. Hi guys, how are you all doing? And if you've got one of these, I suspect you might hate it too. And it's not its fault that I hate it. I just try to do more with it than I think I'm supposed to. That's the truth. I don't have a big workshop and I can't afford a larger freestanding Morticer machine. So if you have one of these, the benchtop entry-level kind of Morticers, I mean on this one, this really is entry-level. It doesn't, even some of the entry-level ones at about £200, 250, £300, you can get with a sliding kind of table and a clamp and that kind of stuff. I've never used one, I don't know how effective those are, but this one doesn't even have that. It basically just has one of these kind of holding mechanisms and these two sliding support bars, which I find next to useless and really frustrating, and it's one of the main reasons I seldom use this thing. And I'd like to love it, I'd like to use it more, but I just find it such a faff to set up, especially when I'm, like I freely admit, pushing it really beyond its limits. So for smaller projects, it's probably okay. But if you, like me, sort of push your luck a little bit and try and do larger things with a machine of this kind of calibre, you might understand my frustrations. So let me show you something I'm talking about. At the moment, I'm currently working on a project where I'm making some large doors and a frame. So I've got some quite long components. So to balance larger, longer components on this sort of small surface and hold them in place with these stupid, pathetic little things, it's really difficult. Stay there. So for example, something like this. This is one of my big long frame lengths, and if I would like to put some mortices in here, again getting this kind of set up in here and getting these, the problem is getting these things set square because they kind of move independently either side, so it's quite easy to sort of get them skewed and you might have your piece off square to the chisel. So for those reasons I just find it infuriating to not to use, to set up. So I've had an idea, so I'm going to do away with that, and I've made this, and that basically just sits over the top like that. I've got a locking screw which we can release. Now the whole fence is set in place at 90 degrees to the chisel, and it basically just pulls out, so wherever you need your mortices to be, lock it back down, and then you can take your workpiece against the fence, set it in position and knock yourself out. So let me show you how I made this. Okay, so I'm going to do away with these, which again, these are supposed to be the alignment bars, which I find very difficult to use. So I'm going to get rid of those. We can keep this. So it just slips into position, and it gives us a much wider, more stable surface to work from. So let's do an example. So let's wanted to put some mortise in this. So now all I do, I release my locking screw, bring this down, slide my table into position, lock that down, and I'm ready to go. Bosh, 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 bosh. And I know that my component is sliding square and true to the chisel. So that's it, it's done. It's no more complicated than that. It's quite a simple build. As long as you get your parallel tracks aligned and your base that fits tight and snug to the actual frame of the machine, because obviously if that moves, the fence moves, and that's no good. So as long as everything sort of fits snug with very little movement in it, if any at all, the beauty of it is it just takes the faffing out of setting this thing up. Because your fence is square and running parallel, you put your component on the bed against the fence, and then you don't have to touch your component to align it. All you do is slide your sled in and out, and it will take your component with it perfectly in plane. And what that means is when you're plunging the mortise and sliding it along, the next mortise sliding it along, each one will be in parallel with each other, not because if your material is, I'll exaggerate it, you'd kind of end up with a staggered mortise, hence your tenon won't fit properly. So by keeping them all parallel to each other, each cut following the next, it just makes the whole job so much easier. So I'm hoping this is going to make my life easier with this. I'll fall in love with this machine again. If you've got one of these machines, give this a go, and I hope it makes your life a lot easier too. So thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.